What is up, guys? And last live stream for 2022. So this will be the last live stream we do this year. It'll be a discussion live stream. We go and talk, and then I'll be out of here. Yeah, we've done a lot this year, man. We've done a lot this year. We've done a lot of content this year. We've covered a lot of more subject. I think this year we covered a lot more subject that I didn't even think would cover. Some of them. Yeah, if you think of the video that we recently did with the Uber Angel, Holker Jazz, we covered the subject of the flag people. That's a subject that I am not interested in talking about. I don't know if I've told you before why. If you read the narrative of how he lays out this particular area of sin in human, according to the human heart, according to Romans chapter number 1, it is clear. It is the one, okay, with other sins, you can justify it many different ways, right? But with this one, he's very particular. The subject of the flag, right? Mm-hmm. He says they do so, they are in denial of God so that they can be given to their flesh. So this is a person who's given to themselves. So they'll do everything to preserve things. That's why in that video I was talking about the only goal that comes out of that conversation is trying to get me to agree with you. So I'm not interested in talking about that subject. That's the one sin in the Bible. The Bible says a person does this or continues in this because they want to justify whatever this wants. So I don't talk about it because, and also that they have such an arm of politics behind them. You won't win an argument. You will not win a discussion there. Why? Because it's more based on this than anything. You know, when you come to church, a lot of people get into the whole debate of it's a spirit, and you can talk about that. But at the same time, do remember that there's a lot of time it's based on traumas that people have had or difficulties and stuff. Some women, they turn to the flag once they've been hurt by a male figure in their life, whether it be a brother who abused them, some like that. Most people turn to that as a form of looking back into their trauma when they try to remember what happened to them or look back at what happened to them. So they also have a justified reason from themselves why they should be. You understand? That's why TB Joshua didn't stand a chance. And that's the video. If you check back in the video that I made then, I stated churches should be careful. There are certain things we don't have to lose our platforms over. If people want to go to Kudi Healing, yes, we should be firm about talking about the subjects that we see. Yeah, but the subjects that involve politics, personally, I'm not interested in talking about. And so that's why personally, I generally don't even cover subjects like that. Even if you check, I also don't cover a lot of women topics. I also don't cover a lot of women topics. I hardly talk about female pastors. I hardly talk about Except if there's a false doctrine, I'm like, hey, Jesus, this one. There are subjects that I just don't talk about. I'm just like, just let them be these ones. And so there are other things that I'm trying to address, and I would rather run as long as I can addressing those subjects. Subjects that affect the church. Those are the things that I am extremely passionate about. Usually, there are people that are evangelists, and so they will have more figure to go and talk about this sin and that sin and that sin. Yeah, personally, I don't. I'm an apologist. I'm not dealing with that. I'm dealing with what's affecting the church, what's creeping into the church. Like the whole subject of drag. I haven't talked about drag. So that's why I made a reference to John's Clash YouTube channel. And the reason is that he addresses it. And go listen to John and you'll hear how he addresses it. So when the Bible tells us to be as wise as, it's because we know what environment we are in, you know? And so we should be smart about how we do that, because those people, they have the flag. And also, they don't just have the flag, they have all platforms like this. Of course, they don't have Twitter. Elon doesn't play those games, you know? So they have all platforms like this. That's why they could imagine one video. Tim Joshua had a channel for hundreds and thousands and millions of views, and he got taken out because of one video. That's not how you do things. First, you give a community guideline thingy, and you are actually supposed to have 3. They didn't even give him that. They just took him out. So that's that arm. Be wise on how you handle that. But I can understand they are a ministry. You know, there's a difference in how a ministry runs to how I conduct content. Yeah, a ministry can be hero. Like I follow one particular ministry, and they got taken out because of how they were talking about Movaxisos and stuff like that. So it's that climate. I am very direct. My goal is to talk to the church, equipping the church, equipping the believer for the discussion and interactions they will likely have in society. That's what my goal is. Nothing more than that. I have a simple goal. Equip in the area of, you're going to meet a person like this who believes this. What talking points do you need to remember? This. How to think about people like that think this. If you wanted to simplify what I do on this channel, that's it. Yeah, I'm not a revivalist. I'm not even a preacher. I'm not. I am just equipped for people's everyday use. So I'll be here during that. It's like, you know, before you go to work, they give you a trainer. Yeah, I'm just that for an everyday conversation. So you meet a ZCC person, you know what talking points you have. You meet a Sangoma wanting to debate, you know what talking points you have. You meet a person who believes in casting out of demons out of Christians, you know what talking points you have. You meet a person who wants to talk about losing salvation, you know what talking points you have. A person wants to debate you about there is no rapture, you know what talking points you have. You see, so it's equipping in those areas. The Bible says, so that the believer is thoroughly furnished unto every good work. That's my role. So a person is thoroughly furnished unto every good work. And so I sharpen the skill, you know. Yesterday, when was it? Yesterday or the day before yesterday? I was so in joke mode. It was Friday. I was so in joke mode. I spoke about the president's thingy. I didn't think too much of it. I was genuinely just laughing about it. And then people said, no, it's a medical problem. I was like, oh, okay. And I got another message saying, hey, Ricky, it's a medical thing. So I thought, okay, you know what? The joke is hindering the subject. So I removed it. And I kept the points about the subject, you know, and not have it hinder. So I sharpen in that area so that I am not. Oh, okay. My device here is behaving funny. What's so that's what the goal is. It's to have people thoroughly furnished in that area, if you could put it in simple terms, basically, in simple terms. But I understand why. I understand why people might misunderstand what I do. It's really that simple. It's equip for everyday use. Take the information. I'm like a utility channel. Um, when you're having a problem with your phone, how do I format my phone myself and reboot it, right? Yeah, you go and you check that. Yeah, I'm like that type of thing. So after a while, some of the videos I actually should start. Good thought. I should actually rename the subjects towards the topic. That's a good thought. That's a very good. If you're a YouTuber, that's how you because then the videos is relevant also to the subject, not just the thingy. But I should try it first with the metadata and deal with it that way. Maybe then it will have, or the thumbnail should hold. Yeah, okay, I'll think about that. 2023 goals. Yeah, and so that it is relevant to that subject, because we're not just talking. That's why when there was this guy who was saying, "Oh, what is it that you're doing?" Oh, also the Passion Java subject. It goes there. Where a person says, "Oh no, why you are just hating and whatnot," right? When he was saying that, "Oh, you're just hating and all this, you're just hating pastors and stuff like that. What you do is not even biblical," right? That whole jazz. It's because they don't understand what to equip in an area of doctrine sounds like. If you give the person the roots of why something is wrong, they are able to deduce out of it what doctrine does it address. In the video which I'm talking about, Passion Java, like for instance, Passion Java responded to people that are critics towards him. Okay, so there were people that had been saying things. We made a video as well saying, if you listen to that video, it will tell you what I mean about addressing certain doctrinal subjects within the church. You hear me saying, drinking is not the sin. The sin is that what he is doing validates the person who doesn't want to become a disciple. It hinders the person who doesn't want to become a Christian, justifying themselves living in unbelief or living in a state of drunkard stupor. It justifies that person. I explained it with my own uncle, right? He believed because of church doctrine about tithing, he shouldn't have to go to church. And so I had to go back and reframe tithing to him. Okay? Can't have people disbelieving in going to church and being a believer all because of giving tithe? No ways. It's not that important, Yes, it's important the church have funding, but then it's not that important that people should be denied salvation. By the way, my uncle went to church first. He wanted to go to church first before me. You see, so those are the areas where people like me come in. It's to say it's more important to have the person than to have them thinking. That's how sinners think. That's how people that are not saved think. They think, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I just have to clean up this act." No, come. You'll change when you are here. But then when people are saying, "Oh, you are a Christian, you drink, you go to hell," childish thinking. That's childish, by the way. Just put it out there. That's childish. Yeah, because human behavior has neural difficulties. This is what we call strongholds. Okay, where you have a pattern of behavior that you have now done so much of, it's rooted in your personality to a point where you can't see a left, a right, or any other way out. And so you stay in the struggle. That's human behavior. The reason why Jesus came is because human behavior keeps getting in the way of trying to reconnect to God. So he does it himself. And then when he is now given us the seal of our salvation, the Holy Spirit, he lives in to convict our desires towards his. So those things get changed when we are in the journey of sanctification. But then people make that topic, oh, you are drunk, you're not a believer. You don't understand. Childish thinking. Childish thinking. All right. So before we go there, let me acknowledge people that are here. Yeah. So unfortunately, you didn't get a video today because we had a load shedding early in the morning. And the load shedding, I thought, okay, it's going to go. It did the load shedding early in the morning. It came back. But it did that from, I think, about 8 or so. So from 8, it went all the way. It never came back. And so, and I was kind of waiting for it so that I could shoot the video, then take a nap. But then it just didn't come. So I switched off the equipment. I switched off everything. And my phones were not charged, nothing. So I couldn't even send a message to say, we're going to do the live stream. So that I could preserve the battery, lest it dies, because I had used it for like 3-4 hours. And this power station is rated for 4 to 5 hours. So I was like, hey, when they still 1 hour, 30 minutes, let me not use it too. So yeah, that's why you didn't get a video today. It's because the power went out, didn't come back. And so, yeah. So it's probably now just a subject of maybe cable theft. So at first it was load shedding, but then it went into cable theft. So we haven't had lights the entire day. Right. Leadershiping says, good evening, people. Good evening. Thank you for the Danko leadership. Yes, if you put up content online, be wise in how you address it, particularly on social media. We can be wise in how we communicate about those things. Yeah. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Clive says we are in. Good evening, Austembi. How are you doing? You remind me of Austembi from Australia. Yeah. The lady who passed away last year. Was it last year? She was one of us here. And she was a friend of mine on Facebook. So when she passed away, I got to see it. So you remind me when I read your name, Austembi, you remind me of that lady. From Cape Town. Oh yes, she used to live overseas. And actually someone in the live stream when we talked about her passing knew her and said, oh yeah, she passed. She saw the post on thingy. She used to live in Australia. I think she had moved there with family. Pat, leadership, Pastor, how are you doing? Leadership, watching from the US of A, leadership beings. Tato, leadership, shalom, shalom. The blessing of the Lord be with you. I'll talk. Leadership. Lanzo. As Oma says, hey, at least I'm listening to the live stream today. Load shedding. Yeah, I mean, my load shedding was the entire day. It must be a cable theft thingy, but anyways, you know what to do. Smanga. Hey, leadership, watching from PTA. Central, SAP, SAPS, I'm in. Hey, leadershiping. Are you work for the South African police? I see SAPS there in the capital city, in the capital. Leadership, that Kolani is here. Leadership, always great to see you. And Pastor John is here. Says welcome to the last live stream. Salute, salute. So yes, by the way, so we made a video, Passion Java, saying that he's praying for alcohol and he's mock praying there and some funny tongue stuff and all that kind of jazz, right? And so, and he did that, and then I guess maybe the critics' comments he didn't like the critics' comment, and so he made a response video. I saw it on AMT7's YouTube channel. Let me show you that, but I won't play it. You can go watch it on AMT7's platform. And so AMT7, you can see the video. That's the video right there. So he responded, you know, how dare you judge me? He's angry there. He's throwing a tantrum. He's pissed off that we are saying, man, them, you can't do that. And so he responded very angrily. But what he says in the video is very weird. It's very funny. He says, his defense, to defending himself. This is what he says. He says, what have you done in your poverty? So basically, he uses, it's a very weird way of actually responding, to be honest with you. He's using the idea of, is Tamara here? Tamara, are you here? Please do a highlight if you are here. I can see some very funny people there in the comment section. Girl 18, whatever. That's a bot. So meaning some people are trying to gain subs. Please do tell me if you're here enough. If you are here, please do watch them and block them. All right. And so, please do highlight in the comments if you're here. And so he's angry. His anger is that how dare you tell rich people what to do with their money? That's his response. And I'm like, yo, what kind of a response is that? Did you say, oh yeah, I did something wrong? Yeah, you can't tell me what to do because I'm rich. That's his response. Legit, I'm not kidding. That's his like you would think I'm actually kidding. It's actually not even. He legit says, how dare you tell me what to do as a rich person? I thought, nah, this is a joke, right? I thought, okay, no, this is a joke. This is a joke. And so that was his response. He thinks this has anything to do with him being rich. And I'm like, yeah, no, the Mandem is too far over there gone. Golden watching from Zambia, leadershiping. Guys, I also want to highlight something. Do not underestimate, okay? Do not ever underestimate this thing. Like when we acknowledge people from certain areas, don't underestimate that. If you are a content creator, this is important. Let me give you let me show you why. Let me show you why. Reality TB. I don't know if you guys remember this video. So you being here and you are watching from a certain area, even if you are not that many, it makes a huge difference. Okay, Tamara, I see she's here. Tammy, please check. There's somebody that keeps sending funny messages, né? Please do look out for them. If you do see them, please do block them. Just in case I'm not streaming, I'm not scrolling that far down. Thank you, love. Yeah, they were here earlier on. I think I blocked them earlier on, but then just keep a lookout for them. Thank you. If you remember this video, you guys remember this video? You remember this video, the TBN video? This video, if you spot, I did it with John, right? I did it with John Clash. Now, when the audience from John came to the channel, because John is from the US, when the audience from John came to the channel, this video started getting huge recommendation in the US. This video. Otherwise, it would have just remained. But because I had recently made a collaboration with someone who was from there, and even though John might have sent like 100 people or 200 people, it doesn't matter. It influenced people to go and watch that video, or for YouTube to recommend the video to the US. This video hitting, 91,000 views. 50% of that audience was in the US. Because of a few people that came from John's channel. And so this subject of using people, talking to people, people are from this area, like, that's why you'll notice I always make videos with people from different places. Whether it be little Limo. Limo, she speaks to an audience. She speaks to people mostly originating from, from Botswana, right? She's now at 800,000. Thank you for subscribing, guys. She had lost a channel. And so that's a great joy for me when to see her channel come back like that, okay? That's amazing. Thanks for subscribing over there. Limo speaks to people that are majorly from Botswana. So if I talk about her channel or I make a collaboration video with her, people from Botswana will get recommended my video. That's how collaborations work. If I make a video with Word Thinkers, if I make a video with Word Thinkers, for example, please do go check out his channel. He took a break, and the break is not good. This is what I always say, guys: do not take too long of a break. And so I will talk to him later on. And so to come back from a break after maybe a few weeks, it affects your channel. If you remember, I stated that when he was here. So he's back now because his work was too hectic. He's original from Namibia, right? So if I make a video with him on a subject about someone in his area, YouTube takes my video and recommends it to that area. And so that's why if you check now, Change Radio? You remember Change Radio? Asmukoto, right? Right there. They're almost at 10,000. Salute to people. When we made the shout out, I think there were 3,000. And YouTube, because I recommend their video, and even if 100 of you guys go watch their video, it gives YouTube a direction of what type of people watch this channel. See that? So it's extremely important, that kind of collaboration. I saw people that were saying, "Oh, why is this channel growing so fast?" I'm like, people are so funny. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just the algorithm recognizes thingy. Okay, so this stuff of us acknowledging people from different areas, it is a big deal. Okay, it is a big deal, and I wanted to show it here. Right. So next year, I'll be a little bit more active when it comes to getting people to be more alert about YouTube. Okay, this platform, it's massive. The algorithm on this platform is extremely massive. It's not a Google. Let me show you something before I go on back to that subject. I think I've told you about this. All right, I think I've told you about this. But let me show you this again, right? There's this here, okay? There's this here. It's called Google AI. Google AI, it's the bot that was now put behind YouTube. So when Google bought YouTube, it put this intelligence system behind YouTube. And this system of recommendation, it kind of puts out machine learning kind of capability or technology in order to find out what kind of people are watching this. And so the thing that I was just explaining right now, like me doing a collaboration with Clash, with Word Thinkers, with this actually just, it gives an idea to YouTube of what kind of people to recommend to that. Remember what happened to Ausposia? I didn't have to make too many videos with Ausposia. I made 2 videos with Ausposia from 200 subscribers. And that small video that we made with her, I didn't release the full interview. I just released a small portion of it, and then I held the other one. Even if 100 of you guys went and watched that video, YouTube now gets the idea of what type of people are watching her. They blew the channel up. It's the algorithm. It's not even the shout out. It's the algorithm. Once it sees, okay, this kind of people are the ones that are watching the channel, then thinking. Anyways, so this is why it's so important when you see us talk about the people that are watching from so and so, watching from this country, watching from Joburg, and all this kind of stuff. It matters, you know? It matters. Like I made a survey. I don't know if you remember. I made a survey some time ago. And if you spot in the survey, a lot of you that watch me from South Africa, you are in Joburg. You know? And so, oh yes, next year we are starting Bible study in person. We're going to do in-person Bible studies. Yeah, don't worry, we'll talk about that as time goes, but that's one of the things that we're going to do. Maybe we'll take a subject and then in a physical location, we'll go and we'll sit, study it out. We'll take half-day thingy. I think it's like, what, $500 to rent out a location. And yeah, or maybe even do it in a church, which will make it much more easier. Yeah, doing it in a church, because then that $600 just rather go to a thingy. And so yeah, and also the Bible giveaways will then become, can somebody remind me to send thingy's Bible, TK's Bible. Yeah, so this stuff of us shouting out people from Ethiopia and whatnot, your views are not in vain. It gives YouTube the idea of what type of people watch. And another thing, how long you watch, it matters, you know? Now, of course, the live stream is too long. But the smaller videos, it does impact the channel. Anyways, so that the subject of what Passion Java is addressing, how can you poor people want to address rich people? How do you want to tell rich people what to do with their money? I was like, man, that's so childish. Why does he even think? The Passion Java video is really hard. If you really think about what he's doing, to be honest with you, the fascinating part is that he thinks he can be in the middle. A classic Laodicean mindset. A classic Laodicean mindset. He thinks he can mingle with the world, be with the world, and then work with the world. Like working with the world, of course, we all work in the world. But then he feels like he can still do church, like as a church leader, while doing the hip hop thingy, the ragar thing. I don't understand his thinking. I just don't absolutely get it. Absolutely don't get it. When I started doing apologetics, when I came back to apologetics, actually it was not even by the time I came back to apologetics. Way before that, I had already stopped doing videography for for thinking. I think my last videography job for clubs was in 2015 into 16. Then I started focusing a lot more on my studies, and then I only did professional jobs from that point. I didn't even think I could. Yeah, and also the environment is just very weird, toxic. I got tired of just looking, because I get there, for me it's just a weird environment. I just sit there and feel sorry for people. I read too much into people, and so when I would get there, I would shoot whatever video, pictures, whatnot. Don't worry, one day I'll show you some of the catalog. There was no funny videos or anything like that. Yeah, and I would shoot a video, and what I see in there as I'm editing, it would stick in my head. That's one of the reasons why I stopped. It would stick. It's either the utter desperation of the person wanting validation from their peers that would just stick with me, or you just see these people that just don't want to go home. It's sad to see. And I was like, hi, enough trauma. That's traumatizing for me. So I stopped shooting videos in that environment, and I shot more professional videos from there. Actually, when I stopped doing that, that's when I got professional work. I got a documentary thingy for the Department of Science and Technology. One day I'll show you that. That documentary was epic. And I had to teach myself how to shoot a documentary. I must have set up for like 5-6 days. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? So I devised a plan to shoot it my way. And we had a test run episode. And I shot a test run episode to help me know how we're gonna do it, and it stuck. I'll show you that soon. Then I did weddings, and also weddings, I'll show you how I used to do them. Weddings are fun to shoot. It's just that they become expensive because of how much work goes into editing something like that. Personally, I don't know. Maybe I would go back to that, but I don't know. I don't know. Weddings are more fun. There is more joy. You are literally capturing something that someone will treasure their entire life. The thing that I don't like is just taking pictures. I don't like pictures because pictures stay in the mind too much. So I prefer video. Video, there's more a joy process of making it, but a picture is just stuck. It's a frozen moment. I took these pictures of this lady. Actually, the first one which I took a picture of with this guy. If you go to my Instagram page, Church Reality Check, and you scroll back, there's a shoot that I did with this guy. He's a hip hop guy, but he was a clean hip hop guy. He wasn't. He was a DJ, and literally a month later he passed away. That shoot, I couldn't get that shoot out of my head. And then I made another shoot with another old lady, and there was this picture that we took. In that entire thing, like, my camera was acting funny. It was shooting okay pictures the day, but I shot this picture of her that was just magical. Absolutely magical. Maybe one day I'll talk about that picture. And that frozen moment, she was looking up, like, there was something that was flying over her. So she looked up like this. I kid you not. She looked up like that. I captured the picture. And that was one of the best pictures. That was the best pictures, actually. Best picture. Others, they were, And I think 6 months later, she passed away. That picture stuck in my head. And now, that family that I took that picture of, it has literally become the memorial picture for them. Because it's almost like she was looking up, You understand? And they took that. They took the picture, they framed it up when she passed. They took the picture, framed it up, and they made it a memorial picture for everybody. Kind of like gave it to everybody. And then they hang it on their walls. Everybody has it in their wall in their family. That one picture. So I don't like pictures. In short, because a picture sticks. You're capturing something that, yeah, no, I don't like pictures. I don't like pictures. Video, I like. There's a progressive aspect of it. If you check my Instagram, you'll see those things. Thing is, Julia is also an occultic charlatan like TV Joshua. Yeah, these guys. I sometimes wonder, do they know that they are that far gone, or do they just continue in their ways? Leadership says, "Hey, IQ overload." Watching from Botswana, leadershiping, and so yeah, leadership watching from England. Danko, we are Ralabocha. YouTube, and also I did another video again, illustration of this thing of saying where you're from. I did a video. I can't remember what last video that was. I made another video with Portia. And that video, I think it was a comment on Portia's subject. And that video got recommended in Ireland. I kid you not. I can't remember what video that was. But I think I screenshot it to her and I was like, look, YouTube is recommending things from Ireland now. Imagine. I don't even think, do we have that many people in Ireland? I don't think so. But because I made a video, because remember, she's in Ireland, and so it kind of picked up that audience from thingy. Stuff matters. It makes a huge difference. Send me the rate and look. I make use of the videography services in the future events. Oh, hey, leadership. I've been out of the business, so I don't even know what the standard rate is or what my rate. I didn't even have a standard rate myself, because I was working with more people that would take advantage and whatnot and stuff, and so I never got to build up my portfolio to a point where I could really say, okay, I bring this quality, this is what I charge. So I never grew to that point. I actually got a job. When was it? Was it 3 months back? Yeah, to shoot a documentary and stuff like that. But I was like, nah. It was gonna take my time from doing this content here, so I turned that down. So next year we'll definitely start thinking. We'll start working on that one. Leadership. We'll work on that one. Yeah, especially the event type. Yeah, those ones definitely I would go back to. And also, another thing that made me not to like working in video is that sometimes people tell you, oh, we are doing an event, come capture. And then when you get there, they throw you a curveball. They tell you, oh, now we need this to be this. And then they now start to require things that you don't have in your services. And then they look at you bad when you say, no, I don't do that. Like you'll get there, they say, oh no, we wanted the video to be live. You're like, no, I don't have equipment that goes live. There are people that deal with live streaming. And so, but yeah, I get it. It's people just don't think it. After one of the last things that I was doing, I was invited towards a thingy. Tomorrow there is that person again. They're using a different account now. And so, yeah, I know that was a very weird one. They wanted me to stream a funeral or something like that. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is not. I turned down the job. After they gave me the thingy, I went there. Their requirements were just ridiculous, honestly. And this person works with some television station, we won't say which. And I'm like, how do they work with this station and they don't know how to do this? Politics, I tell you. Yeah. So next year, leadership will definitely might be coming back to that. But that might imply that I might have to hire an editor. because otherwise I wouldn't manage. Dumelang family fan May. When is the end of year party? We didn't discuss in time, you see. So if we should have discussed in time so that it could be phased in, so that we can put it in schedule leadership. Unfortunately, we didn't think about it. Yeah, but we are growing. We are growing. We are growing. Yeah, next year definitely we're going to do those in-person studies. And so I think that would be very exciting to do. And so basically then what we'll do is, if we are having one in the month, we'll then announce and then look location and then go there and do the in-person study. That will definitely be the direction for that. All right, thank you. Awesome stuff. So next year definitely we look forward towards that. Why is my network giving issues? Okay, is my stream okay? I see my network it's all over the place. Just a second. All in. All right, let me post the link. So those are the things to look out for next year. That's what we are doing. All right, let me pin this comment here. No. Now you can. Okay, thank you very much. Let me pin the message. Thanko. So any particular subjects, any particular thing that you want us to talk about, we can do that. This is more of a live chat. Story will stop at 9 o'clock. Then we'll call it quits. Yeah, and so those are the things to look out for next year. Bible giveaways will be more online, nothing physical. But with the Bible giveaways, I want to do Bible giveaways that I can actually find within a physical store. And so next year, the sponsorship will literally be a Bible supplier. So next year there will be a new, completely different line, and they will have their own WhatsApp, and they will publish the thing. That's gonna be the sponsor for the channel. And so be on the lookout for that one. That's thing. They were supposed to start in November, but they didn't. I didn't go for the last thingy, so we kind of just left it thingy. Most of the Bibles, that's why the Bibles that you saw me bringing here, they seemed cheap. It's because I get them straight from the supplier. I don't buy from a shop and then try to give it away. I was buying, you'd see me saying, oh yeah, this is Bible, it's $800. If you went to the shop looking for that Bible, you might find it for $800 because now the supplier is adding in. Did it pin the comment? Please do highlight for me. And so yeah, so next year, in-person Bible studies, it's gonna be a thing. We'll just announce, okay, we're gonna do a Bible study end of the month, weekend, the last weekend of the end of the month, and then location is this. And then we'll look at which other areas do we have people, and then go that way, go that route. If you say Joburg, this area, work towards that area. And then the subject matter also in that area. Whether we are doing the same subject or whether we are, we'll see how that thingy, but that's next year's thingy. And I don't plan too much things that are just gonna take up your time. And also, yes, the portfolio next year will be running. Yeah, we have almost 90% of the funds to start the portfolio, the investment portfolio, mine, okay, for the channel. But then I'm gonna run that portfolio for 3 months. Then you guys are gonna see it, and then we'll do a giveaway for 2 accounts. So we'll fund 2 people's accounts. They will join the portfolio, and then you guys will then see the progress of that. We need at least 6 months worth of record for that, but that's next year's goal. That's next year's goal. So next year, yeah, next year is gonna be busy. Next year is gonna be busy. My intention was to get that portfolio running this year, but too much stuff came up. The reason why I'm trying to get that going is because with Mkovivi, we saw what happened. Yeah, we need second stream. Okay, so that's going to be the goal, to get that portfolio running. And so I'll figure that out, and then I'll give an update. So how I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna give you the updates of how it looks, how it's going. You'll see it over a period, and then we'll work on the paperwork for it to have an FSP. So we'll hire an accountant. You, Jesus, have mercy. Because we have to do that. We have to get that licensed and stuff. And that's a 5-6 months process. And so once we get that paperwork done, then it can be a public thingy. Yeah, but we have a manager who's very good. He's been working in the industry for a couple of years now. Actually, I've known him since 2013, 14. So yeah, he's a very focused person in that area. Personally, I don't do that stuff that much. As a matter of fact, a month can go without me even opening a chat anymore, because I'm not as excited. I'm excited doing church videos and whatnot. And yeah, I know it's money, but people think money always motivates. Sometimes it doesn't. Money doesn't always motivate. It's not always the. So yeah, next year that's another thing to do. So in-person Bible studies, Bible giveaways will become more gift cards. So we'll give Amazon gift cards. Yeah, we'll have to buy the gift card and then send the credit to the person. And so you'll have to have an Amazon account or something. And also, thanks to the membership guys, we have just crossed the 500 Rand monthly thingy. And so yes, the memberships that you guys have joined, like you see Auspumla's comment, you see a name, and then you see this little thing here. It means she's a member. It's membership. It starts from $10, I think. So those memberships now, they cross 5. I don't remember if it's 500. I think it's 500. Yes. So yeah, the membership literally is now paying for the internet that we thinking. We are using Rain thingy. We're using Rain uncapped. So thank you very, very much. Highly, highly, highly appreciated. And so we want to do those. Those are the things that I want to see how far we can go with next year. And yeah, those are the main ones. The other ones I don't count. There's one more, but I don't want to talk about that one. Yeah, in-person Bible studies. In-person Bible studies. Giveaways turn into gift cards, so that way, even if a person is in the US or is in what, they can still get it. It's not just bound to people in South Africa. So in-person Bible studies, the investment portfolio, and then the giveaways. change into gift cards. And yeah, the audio profile thingy, I think there's a certain thing that I think is best for me to wait for, and then, but I don't even need to wait for that. We can do it with Babu Mkoto now. So I'm thinking about how to work around that, because Babu Mkoto has a full studio. So yeah, because if we were to do it with this load shedding nowadays, oh Jesus Christ, it would be too much. Yeah. Hey, Pumula says, Sims, how do I become a member? There's a join button. There's a button that says join. It links to your Google account. You might try to use your number to do it, but it doesn't work that well with number. It mostly works with the card. So if you're not comfortable with using your card online or with your Google account, don't do it. It's okay. Don't worry. Yeah, but if you have a Google account, like your main account, Google account, don't worry, it can't be hacked, because it still needs the password every single time. It needs the password of the account. It needs the password of your Google account in order for you to go inside this. So it's extremely secure. Leadership says, can you kindly explain Matthew chapter number 17? Da-da-dum, dum, dum. Matthew 17, 1-4. My question is regarding Peter, James, and John seeing Moses and Elijah as they are dead, as they dead. All right. Now, before we open the verse, right? The Mount of Transfiguration, the subject of the Mount of Transfiguration, it questions a lot of doctrines, but it also addresses a doctrine. Like, for instance, it addresses the Adventist teaching about soul sleeping. So that's where you have the idea right there. That soul sleep, the idea that when we die, we are asleep. Now, a lot of times people use, what is this? Ecclesiastics. They use Ecclesiastics. Yeah, that's a subject we've never talked about, have we? Yeah. A lot of people use Ecclesiastics. And Ecclesiastics, remember, the Ecclesiastes writer is not a prophet. So these things are not being unveiled to them. How? Leadership, did your electricity just come back? I know some people's electricity might have come back by 8 o'clock. Even mine just came back. Oh yeah, it just came back. The generators are no longer running outside. So even mine might have actually come back now by 8. I was kind of preserving battery earlier on also, so I was able to start the live stream before. So guys, when we invested into the power station, it was extremely worth it. Hi, Tammy, what's up? And so the subject of the Ecclesiastes, remember, the Ecclesiastics writer, when they go to say the dead know nothing, he's not making a theological argument. That's the thing that that needs to be noted. And also, we don't know. We know it's a book from Solomon's side, but then we don't know who the teacher is. Okay? Yeah, it's a very intricate discussion. As a matter of fact, There is so much. That's why the book is so heavily based on wisdom. He's quoting, it's almost like he's quoting different thought outlines, kind of a thing. Like, you know, when you think a certain thing and you write it down, you leave it. You think of a certain thing, you write it down. So within the point format that he writes it in, you already get that idea. Let me open Ecclesiastes chapter number 1. There is an interesting opening in Ecclesiastics. I hope I can spot it. I hope I can spot it. I hope I can spot. Oh, yes. Okay. So, Ecclesiastes chapter number 1, this says, the word of the preacher, the son of David, king of thingy, right? So, this person is writing the words of the son of David, great, or some stuff. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities. Okay, now he goes on, what profit does man have? You know, life is, you know, it's too much, and what. Okay, can I find this verse? So the preacher was a king over Israel and thing. And so the question is, who the person who's writing this is writing it about the preacher. So the preacher being the king of Israel. There's a place where it gives it, and I'm trying to find that verse. He says, I gave my heart to know. Okay, let me come back to this comment just in a second. I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this is also a vexation of spirit. And so I'm trying to find this thing, because there's the preacher, and there is the writer and the teacher. That's the thing that I'm trying to illustrate. I'm trying to remember what verse it is. I'm trying to remember what verse it is. Okay, let me just do this. Let me try, maybe let's go to the last chapter. Ecclesiastes, let's go 12. Because I know that in 12, that's where he gives the full credit of what the book is all about and the layout. So remember so in all of this vexation of spirit, remember the Lord your Creator in your youth. It's not necessarily something that in your youth, okay? While evil days come not, no, okay, yes. Come on. Vexation, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Né? So the person who's writing this was a scholar of some sort or thing. Even if you read like about sections about the book, it's a teacher who's writing this about the preacher. So it's kind of like an observation book, and this person is teaching it. The preacher is teaching it, while there is a person observing, writing what the preacher is saying. And so there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of debates about it. That's why I was looking for that verse that kind of put it out, that it was a teacher writing what the preacher was saying. So the preacher, as you saw in the first chapter, is a teacher, is a king. He says, he was a king in Israel. But then it's a teacher who's writing this. I'm trying to remember the thing. But anyways, these are those small, minute details. In theology, they teach it a lot. But I'm trying to remember the verses. My bad. I can't remember it. So basically, it's the viewpoint of a teacher over the subject. Okay, so it's a viewpoint of a teacher over the subject. So it's not exactly revelation which is teaching or which is talking. And remember, he is not finalizing any thought thinking. He's approaching the subject, every single one of the subject that he's dealing with, from a perspective of a almost like a wisdom point. He's saying it, but it has a finality aspect later. So he might say something that sounds low in the middle, but then later on he has a finality of what you think. It's like me saying, I don't know, I can't think of anything that has that finality. Let me give you an example. It's like me saying, I am not married. Right? It's like me saying, oh, I'm not married. And then I leave it there. I just don't say anything as, is Ricky disapproving marriage? What's going on? And so I say something and I leave it there. And then later on, and I say, I am in the journey and aspiration towards it, though. So you see, I said something that might have caught people by thinking and say, oh, Ricky disapproving? But then the thought is actually concluded later on. So that's what the thing is with this particular book. It approaches things like that. And so don't take everything at face value. It starts here, but then there is a finality of a thought later on. And so when he's speaking about these pointers that he's making about, like, for instance, the soul sleep subject, he's the one that makes it, the dead know nothing, right? Yeah, it's not doctrine. What he's teaching is not doctrine. What he's teaching is not doctrine. So a lot of people take what he says as final doctrine. Right? And I think what verse is that? Okay, yes, it's Ecclesiastic chapter number 9. That's the reason why I wanted to bring it up, okay? Let me put it up here. Ecclesiastic 9, it says, there is hope, however, for anyone who is amongst the living. For even a live dog is better than a dead lion. And he says, for the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. Now we know very well, this is why when you hear something like that, this is where they take the doctrine of soul sleep. Okay? So the doctrine of soul sleep is based on the idea that the dead know nothing because they are asleep, right? But it says the dead know nothing. They have no further reward. We know that's not true. Do you see how to consider the text that you're seeing here? So the dead do know something. The Bible does also talk about a thing, but remember, it's not a finalized thought. That's how to think about Ecclesiastics. He makes a finality of a thought later on. Maybe we might study it later on and show this in process. Like he says this here, and then he will say this later. He says this here, he says he's a teacher. You have to approach the book. If you read outside of context, and context is the whole book, this is one of the most difficult books to read because you have to read the entire book. You can't read like just a chapter. You have to read the entire book. This book will humble you. It will humble you because you can't read Kotanyana. No. You won't get the whole picture. You need the entire book. Because sometimes he makes context later. He's a teacher. His approach is to have the question as center. You know? He has the question as center and then answers it later. And so the dead know nothing. The living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. That's not true. And how do we know that's not true? When you read Luke chapter number 15, you see that the dead do know something. Okay? Luke 15 is an example that the dead do know that they have family. The dead do know relationships they held previously. the dead do still hold the values towards family. We see that there. They still care about those things. The dead do know that. And also in Luke 15, also we do know of the reward. Bazalwane, I think there's something to note in that entire interaction in Luke 15. Lazarus says absolutely nothing when he gets to heaven. When he gets to Abraham's bosom, yes, for those that might not understand, Abraham's bosom. Oh, leadershiping. Hey, thank you very, 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 very much. Sister Sims, thank you very, very much for the $20 donation. That is a lot where I come from. We are in South Africa. $20, that's Jesus, that's like 300 and something. That's a lot. That is what people work for an hour, if not 2 hours. So thank you very, very much, leadership. Highly appreciated. And so let me put back this in frame here. So if you go back into Lazarus and the rich man, Lazarus says absolutely nothing when he stands in the thing. He has no defense for himself. He's absolutely in peace. He faces whatever judgment comes to him in that eternity with peace. You know, there's all this hustle movement right now, like these people that are, you fulfill your purpose, fulfill your purpose, fulfill your purpose. These people will drag you. Yeah, hustle culture when it comes to church, fulfill your purpose, fulfill. So what ends up happening? People are raising families. They are doing their job. They are, meeting 1 or 2 people, evangelizing to them, talking to people about the gospel. They go to work. They go back to church. These people look back at their life and they think, but I'm not fulfilling anything. So when people look at their lives, they feel like they are not fulfilling their purpose. Your purpose, for some people, being a father, it's a purpose, yes. That has been taken from. Otherwise, you want to see that, read 1 John. I speak to you fathers. I speak to you sons. I speak to you elders. And what is the purpose? He tells them, do not provoke your kids. Yeah, that's your purpose right there. Raise your kids. That's it. Yeah, the purpose is not become a preacher, become this vocal person, and so it stills the joy of what people are doing right now. And so that's why we approach the throne in great joy. It's not like everybody is a preacher or everybody's supposed to be a preacher. It says, do not become many masters, according to James, right? So the idea of Lazarus approaching thinking Lazarus was not a preacher, he was a beggar. So why is he in absolute peace? Because he lived his life that was faithful towards God, which was what? Faithfulness to God. Clearly displayed. His life is an example for everyone. And it teaches a great doctrine, a great life doctrine. So Lazarus and the rich man, clearly they know. Now then he says they have no further reward. Now remember, Lazarus didn't do anything big. If you read that story in Luke 15, he doesn't do anything big. Lazarus is just a beggar. But listen to what he is, what the reward for Lazarus is. Come into thy father's what? Rest. He was rewarded with rest for having faith. Didn't do nothing big. Didn't raise a family. He wasn't a preacher. He wasn't a John the Baptist. But his life of faith, even when he was still in suffering. Nowadays, God forbid you are suffering. God forbid you are suffering. No, people lose faith. They lose, no, they don't have any, there's no hope. They have a reward. So Lazarus did have a reward. Lazarus did have a reward. But on top of that, heaven is not the reward. Remember, heaven is a gift, Anker. Yes. And because the memory of them is forgotten. Now, you being forgotten on earth does not mean, so that's why I say he's not teaching doctrine. So people make a mistake. They take this and he says their love, their hate, and their envy have already vanished. No. If you loved people back here, people will never forget that. And also, but also remember, the Bible says, blessed is the one whose work will follow him towards the judgment throne, right? And also, 1 Corinthians chapter number 3, again, it speaks about their works will be tried by the fire. So their works are not vanished. Vanished? No, they will never again have a share in all that is done under the earth. That's not exactly the truth. The Bible does say that we will judge, will become, so they have a share in the future. And so he's not teaching doctrine, but remember, what he's teaching is very vital at the same time. So what he's teaching is vital because it teaches people not to be too focused on this earth and forget everything. You know, the Venda song, the Venda famous song, Gaberi Safi. Hey, this song we used to sing when we were little. Gaberi Safi. Would you look at the deeper? You know, like we used to sing that song, which means, we wish we didn't die. It was a Mawilis song. There was an artist called Mawilis. Gaberi Safi. We wish we didn't die so that we can live and enjoy life, basically. And this book is written for those people. So this book is written to the carnal people. This book is written to the carnal passion Javas. This book is written to those that, no, when I'm young, I must do everything. Baba. When I'm old, I won't be able. Nah, the Bible says, serve the Lord. Later on, remember the thing that I said, we have to do a contrast. So if you read the chapter number 9, one that I read later on, which it says, Amen. I'm trying to remember what it says. Like it completely just, wait, what verse did I? Okay, chapter 12. Is it chapter 12? Yes, okay. Remember now that Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. So right now, when you still have time, be hard at work. The Bible doesn't tell you to waste your youthful years by going to parties and doing what, doing all these funny things. No, it tells you to labor yourself in God when you are still young, right? When you are still capable. And so instead of that idea of, Ngabere Safi, let us waste our, forever young. Let's do it all when we are young. Yeah, that narrative, it's for the carnal person that does not understand that all you are doing is vanity. Right now, go buy an expensive something. Go buy an expensive dinner. Go and buy an expensive, nice what. 10 minutes later, it won't even matter that you bought that. That's what he's talking to. He's bringing to memory. And all these things you value now, for all you know, my t-shirt might be very expensive. For all you know. But it looks like an average t-shirt. There's nothing that says expensive. It's just a t-shirt. Don't overthink it. Yeah, but by the way, it's not an expensive t-shirt. It's not even an expensive t-shirt. I think it's like an $80 t-shirt. Yeah, it's a small street. So that's what he's talking about. A person that will labor themselves to buy a t-shirt for $1,000, to buy a Balenciaga or whatever brand you like. He's talking to that person saying, this is all vanity. You are wasting. It's a vexation of spirit. You will waste yourself. in it. So now a lot of people take that, and then it affects what they believe once they get to the Matthews in the Bible, right? So as you're stating there, the question is around the presence of Moses, Elijah, and thingy being dead and so forth, right? My question is regarding Peter seeing Moses and Elijah as they did, right? Now, there's a lot of discussion about is Moses dead? Is Elijah dead? Because Elijah was carried and the whole nine chairs. There is that whole discussion. But that's why I brought up, now you will understand why I brought up the root of the subject. Okay? That's why, okay, I gave an apologetics answer. Instead of answering the question directly, I answered the question, the root reason for why people ask the question about, was Moses dead? So I answered the real reason. And the core reason is what? They think people, when they die, they sleep. Gone. And so we have to go back there and look at those verses, and you will see the speaker there. He says other things that tell you he's not teaching doctrine. He's talking about when a person passes, that's it. You're gone, you're gone. That's what he's trying to emphasize. He's not teaching doctrine. And so, but if you go back into the verses that are highlighted, the very same verse, Matthew chapter number 17, shows you the subject of soul sleep. Now, the Bible, other people then want to question, okay, but then when the Bible says there will be those that are resurrected, if we are not dead, what's being resurrected? Remember, there's a resurrection of the body. Yeah, I think also people, that's another thing for people to also understand. When the Bible talks about resurrection, it's not talking about resurrection of the body only. It's not talking about the resurrection of the thing. So them, they think the soul or the spirit man is dead. So if that is dead and you need to be resurrected for you to, like, they think when we die, our spirit man is like this. It's in sleep. There's nothing is going on, no activity, anything. But then why do we need to be saved then? Because what is the confession all about? He says, for all is passed away, and behold, all is become new. So the new is for what? The new is that we have been given a new spirit man that is not condemned with the flesh. And so that lives after we die here. That's why if you read Lazarus and the rich man, the story of Lazarus, it's not a parable. We've always emphasized that. And how do we know it's not a parable? Because there are names there. He gives names. He doesn't give names in parables. Read all the parables. You will not see names. So why does he give names there? It's because this is a literal story, and he's giving doctrinal answers. That's what he gives, doctrinal answers. He's not telling a story where there isn't context of doctrine. Think about it. There is a depth of doctrine. Like, for instance, why would Jesus tell something that is teaching a doctrine while it's not doctrine? Why would Jesus do that? Like, for instance, when he talks about, when he says, Father Abraham, send Lazarus so that he can go and witness to them, so that they can also become, And his answer is, no, there's no interaction. There is no interaction. He said, send me back so that I can tell them and warn them, so that they don't come to this place, so that they can have salvation. He doesn't understand. It's not that. That's not what convicts. That you saw someone from the dead or something like that. And so his answer is a very doctrinal answer. He says, no, they have They have the prophets. Let them hear them. Doctrinal. That's a doctrinal answer there. So that tells you that the intention of the parable is to teach on what happens when we die. And now look at how it happens then. He says, it happened that the rich man died and was carried unto Hades. And it happened, if you read the parable, it happened. Why would he say it happened? Because he's showing a book of events. He's showing events that unfolded. He's very particular. He has this number of brothers. He was rich. He wore this type of clothing. Why go through all these details? He's going through all this. Like in the parable of the prodigal son, he doesn't give details except when he is now talking about, when he's talking about the return of the son. Before, he doesn't give detail. When he says there is split of wealth, he doesn't say what the wealth is. He doesn't say it's cattle, it's herd of sheep, it's what. He doesn't say all those details, but he gives details when he talks about the return. Put shoes on his sandals. Kill the fattened cow. Don't kill just a random. Keep the fattened, and remember, fattened cow is very clear in the Old Testament that was used for sacrifice. So the boy needs advocation. The boy needs an innocent to represent him, for him to come back into the house. And we are doing this before he even enters back into the house. He is accepted before he enters the house. The father sees him way off. So the father sees the son in his sanctification, and he goes all the way while he's still on his journey back. The son doesn't have to get there. The father is coming either ways. Which is the doctrine that the Pharisees had a problem with. The Pharisees used to believe that God doesn't go to men. Man comes to God. So Jesus said, no, in salvation, God goes to them. So that's why I am not for this idea of mixing works into salvation. That's something that I'm absolutely against. And if you didn't know why I'm against it because it deviates or it takes away from the Father coming to mankind. Okay? So what happens is that he goes out to get him. Then he gives detail. Put a ring on his finger. Do what? He's very specific to this particular finger. So there's a lot of detail that show you he's teaching a theological subject there. And so in the subject of Lazarus and the rich man there, the Bible then says when it happened that Lazarus died. Oh, okay. And 2 angels carry him. Now there's details about how does he get to heaven. So now we know what to expect. When you die, you're going to see 2 angels. If you're saved. If you're saved, you're going to see 2 angels. They're going to carry you out. We can say that confidently because we see it there. And he was carried. Meaning you can't get there. Pastor Lon, isn't it funny to come to the work of salvation or restoring your relationship with God? That you couldn't do. Jesus had to do that. You don't even find your way back to heaven. They must accompany you. They must accompany you. So it happened. He died and he is carried by the angels. The angels know where to take you. And when he is carried, he appears in this presence of Abraham. And Abraham is the one that speaks for him. Because remember, in the Old Testament, the faith that they believe in is the faith of the Father. It's the faith of the Father. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the faith of these people. We are founded, we believe what they started. Right? And so Abraham, being the father of faith that this man had, Lazarus, is the one that speaks for him. Why? Because Jesus hasn't died. right? Now, you'll remember, he says it would be better. You say you are the children of Abraham, but why is it you are trying to kill me? So basically, the witness that you have doesn't align with him. He would be speaking to you of me, basically. And so in that narrative, we then see that he is teaching doctrine of what happens when you die. So even us, we don't even know the way to heaven when we die. They have to come and carry us. And we don't speak for ourselves when we get there. He is the witness. No, this one belongs here because his sin is accounted for on the cross. He's saved. The other judgment, the judgment of thing, is your works that is being judged because thing. And so because people disbelieve in thing, because they took those verses from the Old Testament that say the dead know nothing, they don't understand. He wasn't teaching doctrine. He was trying to get people that are carnally minded or earthly minded, earthly invested, to knowing that there is no reward in whole investing yourself into things of the flesh. So was Moses dead? When we think about that now, is Elijah dead? When we think about that, and remember, it doesn't say that Lazarus died and he was resurrected. It says nothing about resurrection. He is yet to be, there is going to be resurrection, Brother, and the resurrection is what? Their body. So the discussion that they are missing when the Bible talks about resurrection is that our body is resurrected, right? But remember, them that are dead, when it comes to the rapture, them that are dead, they are brought up, and we who are alive are caught up with them. Okay? Yes. So them, they are those that are dead. But bear in mind, is that the resurrection? That's where now this one is a secondary subject. It's not necessarily thingy. Now, that can be understood two different ways. When there is that them that are thinking we are caught up with them. Now remember, there is also the aspect of the physical body. The Bible says, when it says in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, the body is changed. The body is changed into immortal. It inherits. The Bible uses that word. It inherits immortality. And it says mortality. We read about those verses last week. And so right there, there's some, we can differ about how we come about this. But the one thing for sure is that some people might believe in that same portion. Let me explain it properly. In that same portion, a person can believe that the moment the rapture happens, someone might say, the moment that happens, our bodies are reunited with us, and then we are thinking. Or that those that are dead and are not resurrected are going to be resurrected. Their spirit man is resurrected, and us, we also think, and our body becomes dump down here. And then when there is the resurrection, the first resurrection, remember, blessed is he that is part of the first resurrection. That's the resurrection of the body. So you can have a person that believes that, to say the spirit man, those that were not saved all those years, they are brought up. But then you can go all over the place with things. Bazalani, me, I always say, be there. Okay? Yes. You want to know what I believe about? Be there. Whether you believe that rapture, the body is translated also into thinking, because remember, it says when we see him, we shall be like him. Now, the debate would be, is he talking about the body as a whole, that we would then have our immortal bodies? Because he says mortality is converted into immortality. There isn't dying there. We're just out of here. So if you are thinking about that particular subject, about what you believe, think about those points. Ne? I'm giving you the elements to what to think about when you are thinking about those points. Personally, I don't believe we die. Let's say, for instance, if I die, I died in the body. But the Bible is very clear. Blessed those that die in the Lord, for their works follow them. It means I'm not here. It followed me. I went somewhere. And then also, if you go into the Lazarus and the rich man, it's clear. It says, and it happened that when Lazarus died, he was carried to heaven. He was carried to paradise. He was carried. That's what you know. He was carried. So that's why personally I don't believe in soul sleep. It says to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. So you are either here or there. So then you'll ask, okay, what about those that are not saved? The Bible is it's also explains. Let me not say the Bible is clear, because for somebody it might not be. The Bible also explains when it talks about the Lazarus and the rich man. The rich man went. The Bible says he went there. He wasn't carried. There is no demon to carry them. All these people that say, oh, demons will carry them, will chop them, will do. You can't prove that through the Bible. The Bible says he found himself. That's fascinating. That for Lazarus, he's carried. Meaning you don't need to find your way to hell. No. Why? Because the spirit man is condemned with the body. But for Lazarus, he's carried. So those are things to think about when you're thinking about that particular point. Is that there's a lot of moving parts, but the moving parts make sense. So we know what to think about the Ecclesiastes verse that says they don't know anything. And how do we know? We know because he is clearly not teaching doctrine. Okay? He's clearly not teaching doctrine. What he's saying here, okay? But the dead know nothing. We know that that's not true according to Luke 15. They have no further reward. We know that they are rewarded later. Right? People are going to get the crowns of overcoming sin. Yeah, there's literally a crown for that. Many won't have that crown. He's honest as believers. You know, even after they were believers, they still need to be constantly reminded. Further reward, because the memory of them is long forgotten. Yeah, but remember, it's not forgotten because it followed them. Their memories followed them. The things that they did follow them. And so we know he's not teaching doctrine. He says all the things, it all vanishes. We know it doesn't vanish. It's yet going to be judged. Right? So it's not vanished. So he's not teaching doctrine. So when you speak about this particular subject of Moses and Elijah appearing, think about those points there. Is that there is a lot of things that are addressed in that. And yeah. Ooh, Jesus. I'd like to ask the book of First Timothy chapter number 2, verse number 8 up until 15. Does the Bible forbid women preachers? And if so, what do we regard to all women preachers of nowadays? Would really appreciate the breakdown. I've put it like this, because of my goal to reach all men. My goal is to reach all men, and from my doctrinal position, from where my fellowship place and all that kind of jazz, we don't have female preachers. I think I've explained that before. We don't have female preachers there. More Baptist route, they don't have preachers in thingy. But that doesn't mean I don't divide with a person who goes to a church where there's a female preacher, or with a person who's a female preacher. when Paul says, when Paul makes the subject about women preachers in 1 Timothy, he outlines the reasons for why. But it's not a primary subject. Yeah, that's the most important thing to note there. It's not a primary subject, and so personally, I don't divide with a person over that. Yes, it's not a primary. It's personal conviction. What are you convicted of? And so I've seen people that literally divide over that. I personally, I don't divide about that. I just might not go to that church. It's just that. Do I disapprove people preaching, women preaching? No, I don't. I don't disapprove women preaching. That's because now you have to now you must now say where they must preach. No, that's wrong. And in my view, that is absolutely wrong. Saying where they must preach, because now where does it say where they must preach? Exactly. You see, now you start making up things. See, you start making up things. No, you can't watch a woman preaching on YouTube. Where does it say that? So can a woman quote a Bible up in the public? Okay, no, the woman's thing it's for her to lead the younger. That's it. It's only to lead the younger ones. That's all. No, something is. So personally, I leave that one to personal conviction, but I don't go to a church where there's a female pastor. It's just that's where you're gonna find me. If I come to your church and I find thingy, I'm not gonna even say how. Hey, Mona leadership. Hey, Gumuruti. I'm not even gonna bring that up because it's not. I let everybody live by their. If you notice, like for instance, I'll give you an example. I'll give a shout out to a person here, right? But I'm not gonna tell them how to run their channel. No, I'm not. Everybody work according to your conviction in that particular area. That's my thing. I will not disassociate with you because of that. No, I will not disassociate. That's why you will not see, even when I am correcting a woman pastor, that's not the subject that I'm correcting. Walk according to as you thingy, because you can make an argument for both. You can make an argument, but in the Bible it does talk about women prophetess. One of the persons that is actually the person that actually receives the Messiah is a woman thingy. There's Simeon, and then there's the woman. I forgot the name of the woman. Yeah. And so there's that there. And so this, but the one thing that I will tell you, this is not a primary doctrine. Primary doctrines are the things that say a person is a Christian. So I've noticed this thing when you go to like Baptist churches, they make this a primary doctrine. I don't agree with that. It's not a primary doctrine. They say, oh yeah, that church, there is a female pastor, that church is not Christian. No, that verse, 1 Timothy, it says, Paul says, I do not give woman authority over man. And then he breaks down the reasons for thingy. And then the reasons, if you listen to the reasons, it has nothing to do with whether the woman is saved. Okay? It has something to do with roles. So Paul talks about the subject of women pastors in the subject of roles. And so you asked me, Ricky, what is your thought about thingy? Is that personally, I don't go to a church with a female pastor, but I'm not against it to a point where I'll come to a church and say, yeah, you are a. Why? Because let God tell you how to think. If you say God has led you to preach, I won't even quote any verse for you. Why? Because I don't know how. It's like a person can come to me and tell me, because you'll have to tell me then, when does a woman preach or where does a woman preach? Like Messianic organization which I used to go to, they closed. Did contact one of the elders. They say next year they'll be back because they were kind of afraid of the COVID or what. They had moved to Cape Town or something. And so that branch will be opened back up again and so forth. And there are women that do other parts of the ministration. But the pastor, and there are women that are also within the place. They will preach. Yeah, there were women that used to preach, but they were not pastors. Eh? Do you get me? The church just does not ordain a female pastor, but there are women that preach. So the whole subject of women preaching, according to Paul, is leading a church. Is the aspect of leading. That's why when he's talking about things, he says, Christ is the head of the church, the husband is the head of the wife, and the wife heads over the home. And so the whole subject, it doesn't say a woman can't preach. It says authority, meaning being pastor. Yeah, but that's why I say it's a secondary issue. People just don't understand that. Sometimes people follow the doctrine, but they don't fully deal with it. They don't fully go, like, you see, right now I'm going into the other depths of things. I've told you guys, the people that have strongly convicted me, it was a woman preacher, Renee Rowland. I've told you about the subject of salvation. She's a female. She's not a pastor. I mean, like, people were so much against her. She's from the Baptist wing. People were so against her. They would say, "No, why are you a woman preacher?" And her pastor had to come to her channel and say she's not a pastor. She preaches the word, but she's not a pastor. And that position of being pastor, not ordained as, but being pastoring, teaching the Bible, whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. The Bible, that verse is not talking about that. But that's a subject of a different day. I think the most important thing, it's not a primary doctrine. I will never distance or part ways with a person over that. I don't part ways with people for doctrine, for subjects about secondary doctrines or tertiary doctrines. That's why I will communicate with an Adventist. Yeah, because there are Adventists who believe contrary to all the things that we've been talking about. There are Adventists that believe in Adventism, but they don't believe in Ellen. So if you look at the denomination and you say, "Yeah, doomed to hell," you dismiss those brethren who are there who also are vexed about, "Hey, this woman doesn't sound sound, man." And so there is a lot of things that people just don't understand. And that's why I was doing the breakdown of Ellen White, because she wants to rewrite the Bible. We were reading with Tamara yesterday, and we're gonna knock off now, not long from now, and we're gonna go back and read so that we can, and have a finality of thinking. So we wanna do as much reading as possible. And yesterday when we were reading, we started to notice a pattern of the reading. What time did we finish? Tamara, what time did we finish reading yesterday? It was late, man. We finished reading late, but we were reading, I think 3:00. Yes, was it 3? Yeah, I think it was 3 when we were talking about. So we read through the Skype thingy and all that kind of jazz, and it just helps thinking, and also builds relationships. Siabonga Skype. So we were reading, and we started noticing a pattern in how she is writing. She's trying to distance a person from the Bible. And we got so frustrated. I was like, what is that? What is she doing? And we started noticing a pattern in all the readings. And we started recalling certain portions where she says this, and she adds a detail which is not in the verse. And so she would say something, but I'm gonna show it. We're gonna finish the reading. The other thing, I think we are on chapter 7, chapter 8, or something like that. And so you'll remember that I read the first chapter only earlier on. And so we notice that she doesn't just quote the verse, she quotes and she adds. And she doesn't say what the verse is, so that you don't have a reference. And it became frustrating. I think at one point she quotes something, and then we spent some time looking for the verse. We found it, we read, and we're like, wait a minute, that's not there. And so, yeah, there's that. There's all those type of elements. But then it's not what all Adventists believe. But you got to point it out to them. Maybe, hopefully, God will show them that it's not biblical. And so it's the same thing. I believe there are Adventists that believe, not that I believe, there are Adventists that believe in Christ and Christ alone, and they don't like the Ellen subject. They want to observe the Sabbath. And so, yeah, I'm all for that. I'm a Sabbath guy myself. By the way. I'm a Sabbath guy myself, because I'm with the Messianic movement and so forth. And so the doctrines that we believe is rooted within the Judaism. Preachers there mostly are rabbis and stuff like that, and people that were Jews converted into Christianity. And so they prefer, but they are not against. This is another thing that I'm talking that I mean about this particular subject, knowing what a primary is. When you look at guys from the Messianic movement, they are not against people worshiping on Sunday. They are not. They don't even bring it up. Why? Because it's a secondary. It's not a primary. Okay, it's preference. Even Paul says, don't let anybody judge you on the whether you are worshiping on Sunday or on the Sabbath or whatnot. You can you can literally have a church service on Wednesday. Makes no difference. The reason why we have church service on Sunday is that worldwide we've agreed that there is a weekend. Worldwide, no matter where you go, there is a weekend. And so we just prefer to be on the weekends, because then most people are there. But people make it doctrine, and it's not doctrine, honestly. So that's what my thoughts are on the subject of women preachers. If you is that there is certain points you can derive from it, but I will never divide with a person who believes she's Now let me be very clear. I can't marry a person, me, Ricky. I can't marry a person that believes they are a preacher. That's important. Because it's gonna be division. There's gonna be one day she'll start telling me that she has a calling, she wants to start a church. How do I then get with that? Do you see that? And so I had a relationship which broke down because of that. Yes. And there wasn't any faulty thing. It was just that once she heard me mention that point, to say, I'm not against thingy, but I just can't marry a person who wants to be a pastor, because I can't justify you being that in my household. I can't answer that. Consciously, I can't. And why? Like I explained earlier on, a woman can preach. A woman can lead the church in preaching. But for a church to ordain her, I can distance. But it doesn't mean I won't be friends with you. No. Don't get that twisted. My goal is to equip people in the subject of doctrine. I will never divide with you over that. If you are pastor, as a matter of fact, if a person says they are pastor, I'll call them that. Yeah, I'll call you pastor. Me, I call you by your title. That's why even people sometimes get frustrated. Rick, why do you call these false prophets prophets? I'm yipping. If you say this is your title, I'm going to call you that until the Messiah gets you. You'll answer when you meet him. I'm not a pastor. I'm not any particular church title. And so I stick to my thingy. So, but I will never divide with you over that. No. A woman can preach. Now, whether she's preaching over in church, remember there's a church pastor, there's a pastor over the church. And if a woman is preaching, doesn't mean she's pastor. Now, many people then interpret that as pastor. That's not what the verse is saying. I just can't get that from the verse. I get ordination from the verse. Like even if you are talking about bishops, when the Bible talks about bishops, it says a husband of. Why is he emphasizing on the male aspect? Do you see what I mean? Yeah. But if a person came to me and said she's a female and she's a bishop, I won't argue with her about that. No, it's not. I won't argue with her about that. You know? You get me? Yeah. And so it's the aspect of being ordained. Can she preach? Yes. The ordination, let me give you an example. The ordination that's thingy, an evangelist, when she's ordained to do evangelism, or you might even argue about deacons, because it sounds like a deacon is also puts it as a female thingy, as a male thingy. That's why I say, where is their role? You will have to let your church have a definition for what exactly is the woman's role in church. Okay, when the Bible talks about, when the New Testament talks about a household leading a church, it says the church of, and then it puts both husband and wife. He doesn't say the church of so and so, the wife of so and so. No, it says no, the church by so and so and so and so. It's the husband and wife. And so that's what my thoughts are. But we might differ in that. It's not the most important. Okay, I do see a lot of people did have an answer. The Jews required a sign. Moses and Elijah's appearance is a sign to confirm. Nailed it, leadership. Absolutely nailed it. It's a sign for them that this is a continuation. And Peter's request, actually, let us build 3 temples. And he says, no, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. The approval is for the son. And so that's, you've nailed it there, leadership. Leadership goes on to actually say exactly, Tanko. Tanko leadership, me and you are in. So you see, women can preach. Ordination is a different thing. We might differ on that also, bear in mind. Ne? Because the Bible doesn't say don't ordain her. It doesn't say anything. We might differ on that. Okay? So let us know what to differentiate over, or what subjects to differentiate over. Keeping the law. It says Moses is not dead, neither is Elijah. Exactly. They are in the presence. They are in the presence. And also remember, if you want to argue the subject of resurrection, the people that died during the tribulation, they are in heaven instantly. And they are there in the heaven. John sees them in heaven, asking for the judgment to be rendered. When will our justice come for those people, what those people have done to us? So otherwise, if soul sleep is a true doctrine, how are they in heaven? Now, it doesn't say that they have achieved their bodies, which is where I've said. It doesn't say anything about them having their bodies, but it says that their spirit man is there. The body resurrected later. So, okay, we're going to finish in a few minutes now. All right. I am going to be part of the resurrection. Yes, leadership. Me, I can't wait. Yes. Sims answered the woman that is that introduces Jesus. There's a lot, by the way, about that subject, but hopefully we'll try and do it next year. Remind me, please, ne? Please, remind me to do a topic about the two prophets that received Jesus, the prophetess and the prophet Simeon. Is it Simeon or Simon? I can't remember. Remind me to do that study next year, and we'll definitely do that, because there's a lot there. If you listen to the message that is sent to Anne and the message that comes with Simeon, they're different, and they're very particular. They're particular teaching. Now, I hope I can remember everything, because I did lose track of the things that I was taught about thinking, but I'll go back, read it, and be prayerful about it, and I pray that God will remind me on that subject. I pray that God will remind me on that subject. Yeah, because I lost track of it, man. And it's a lot, to be honest with you. It's a lot, particularly about what the message, the redemption of Israel, what. There's two messages. I can't remember exactly, but remind me to come and do that one. And serve day and night in prayer. Yes. Okay, look, let me open it. Let me not be a lazy guy. Look, thanks, Sims. 230, 236, 236. Oh, too much. 236. Okay, I hope I'll see that part that I'm okay. Yeah, so then Simeon blessed them and said, so this was the first prophet to meet them, said, this child is destined to cause a falling and a rising of many in Israel, and to a sign that will be spoken against. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to. It's coming back. Okay, maybe I should go read it. Then maybe some of it will come. Where he assigns. I remember the teacher was talking about a sign that will be spoken against. So there was the blessing for those that followed. There was a curse for those that didn't. So that the hearts of many will be revealed. So they claimed to be of faith, but their heart was made clear that they were not of faith. And so that is prophecy, but there is also there's a thing that I'm looking for. When I said the message, remember the part when I said the message? Okay, Simeon. Oh, Sims, thank you very, 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 very much, leadership. Thank you very much. Right here, this is Simeon's message. It says, now there was, oh, my bad, you're not seeing the scripture properly. My bad. All right. I have one screen here. That's why next year, maybe I should just designate a second screen when I'm doing the live stream. It says, now there was a man in Jerusalem called Simeon who was righteous and devout. He was waiting for the consolation. You see, this is the message right here. There is a lot to be said about this, but we'll talk about it next year. Ne? The consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was on the man. Remember before, not on. It had revealed to him that by the Holy Spirit that he was not to die until he sees the Messiah. So this is the thing. The theme of his message is the consolation of Israel. But let's go down to Anne. And there was a prophetess, and she was old, and she had lived with her husband for 7 years after her marriage. And I'm not reading directly, né? Yes, I might be looking, but my head is racing. Then was a widow. Okay, I'm looking for the message. And she never left the temple but worshipped day and night, fasting and praying, coming up to them at the very moment she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were looking forward. This is a message to the redemption of Jerusalem. That's it right there. So these two people had a message. Let me enlarge that and remove this comment. So these two people had a message. One was the consolation of Israel, the other one was the redemption of Jerusalem. So we'll talk about that next year, and we'll illustrate and break it down. I pray that I may remember in Jesus' name everything, all the details about this. It's an entire message, this particular two subjects. And there are verses where you will see him literally doing this, redeeming an area, redeeming. So yeah, so we'll definitely do that one. Thank you very much, leadership. Rick Warren broke the mold for the of two female pastors in Southern Baptist. Hey, that man them has made a lot of thingy. Yes, exactly. So Brother Kolani is saying exactly what I was saying. Is that there is an area of ministration that you do see. So to restrict her from preaching doesn't make sense. And so because it then becomes where do you want her to preach? So personally, I'm not for that. And also, there you go. This is why I'm saying you can't tell the woman not to preach, like completely. He appeared, Jesus appeared too, So Mary was the bishop over, I'm joking, over the disciples. The disciples needed a testimony. And remember, back then, a testimony of a woman was not highly valued. And so, why did they write it that Mary was the first one to see it that way? Knowing very well that the book would be rejected by many, is that they just let it unfold the way it was. It is the biggest manuscript for true feminism, not thinking women's rights and so forth. And so, yeah. Ooh, yeah, okay, we're gonna finish in the next few minutes. When it says 2:15, we are done. 2:15. I gotta go back bread. And I think you've made a good distinction between preaching and having authority. Yes, that's the thing that people don't get. So if a woman is thinking, I wouldn't advise taking ordination. That's just me. No? I wouldn't advise that. And so I wouldn't advise that. But if you do, we'll call you pastor. It's all good. But you being pastor, it now puts authority in thingy. You understand what Paul is addressing there? Because the thing is, it's not, and people say it's tricky. It's not tricky, guys. It's not tricky, because he says the man was made first. Go read the rest of that verse. The man was made first, and then the woman. The woman was deceived, not the man. He makes it about roles, And so, if you wanted to know what I believe, of course, we've talked about it before. For if you are not new here, you've heard me saying that. Personally, that's what I am extremely. Yeah. Since says, thank God, I don't think Tamara believes she can recall it. Tamara is my helper. Yeah. And thank God she has the passion for reading. So it just goes that she's a perfect helper. Hallelujah. Yes. She's a perfect helper. Yeah, leadership. You see this particular point you just made here? It's so crucial. Okay? It's not, the thing is, others have gone too far left, others have gone too far right. And they've left the middle point. And the truth really is middle point. It's really just middle point. The whole thing of you ordaining women as bishops is, I'm like, I don't know, but if you are, it's good. It's cool. I wouldn't even debate you on that. How I nearly missed the live stream. Yo, leadership. Hey, you know what? But unfortunately, we gotta end now. Almost now. We gotta end in 5. My brother in Christ, leadershiping, how are you doing? We are wonderful. We are on point. Just arrived few minutes. Leadership, we are done as we are going. You'll have to rewind and catch up. I think rewind to the first 1 hour. That's where we start addressing matters. Winnie says, I'm not against women preachers. I was just asking. No, don't worry, leadership. We understand. Don't worry. We understand. I was just asking, God did use prophets exactly. Is that the balance? There just needs to be balance in the subject. And also, if you are still navigating how to communicate about it, pray about it. Like the particular subject of the preaching and the ordination thing, I didn't really think about that until I kept going back, because you'd get these questions and what. So if you listen to how I spoke about it last year, I might have just talked about my beliefs. Last year, I think I should just talk about, no, this is what I believe. I believe this in this way. And so the idea of the particular part about ordination, it was something that when I was reading again, I was like, oh, wait a minute, he doesn't say anything about not preaching. And also the churches part, where he names the churches after households, husband and wife. So yeah, shalom. Well, next year leadership. We say next year as if it's like 2 weeks. And leadership, I'm asked to, since I haven't joined as a member, I am asking you again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me explain what happened. There was a charity organization that was doing a charity for a child. There was a child who was doing a birthday. And so I was waiting for them to send me an account so that I'll just send you that account so that you can send the money to them. So it would be us donating to them. So I remember in the whole Nanhajes, at first I was like, and then that particular subject came up. So I wanted you to donate straight to that child because they were doing the party. I'm not sure when they were doing it exactly. I'll let you on the thingy. And so I was like, oh no, you know what? Let's rather donate that money over for them to do the party for this child. I think the child is disabled or something like that. And so they run a ministry which tries to kind of help people that are disadvantaged and stuff like that. So there's this family, the mother is unemployed, whatnot, and I think the child just, she went through a very hectic period of medical what. So the family went completely broke. So it's a birthday very recently. So I was thinking we'll send it there. I'll check back with them and then I'll send you that. It'll do good there. Thank you, leadership. Thanks for reminding. And so they hadn't sent me the details, so that's why I didn't. Instead of it coming to me, then going there, you can just go there straight. The woman was and was protected. Danko. She's covering. Her covering was the man. The covering was the man. Danko. All right, guys. 2:15. I think that's a good enough time thingy. And so, yeah, we can do that study. Please do remind me next year about the subject of this particular two subjects here of the redemption of Jerusalem and the consolation of Israel. And and also me and Tamara are going to continue reading the other thingy. And also thanks for everybody on the recommendation of the other material. You spoke about steps to what from Ellen. We'll also read that one as well. And so I will be doing a part 2 of the Ellen White thingy. There's a lot of things that we've spotted, so we're gonna address those, and and then I hope we would have covered enough about the material for us to have it out there. I do see that other people do actually talk about false prophecies, whatnot. Sometimes I do try to kind of consider what's out there, and so the false prophecies is very popular. That's kind of like the first thing that people talk about. So that's why I didn't focus on that, because there's enough information about that. So would rather add to it. But unfortunately, it requires a lot of labor. so we're gonna continue reading that right after this live stream. I don't think we are going to do a Skype thingy, and then we're gonna start reading again further. And I'll give you a heads up. Sometimes it does help. Like when I'm reading by myself, I might miss things. So it helps when I'm reading with Tamara, because she can note things that I am not aware of. Sometimes we'll read past a line. She's like, wait a minute, what was that? You see that? So it absolutely helps. Rib of my rib. It helps because she can hear things that I might not pick up on. And then I might bounce an idea of what I heard, and I say, is this? And then she's like, no, it doesn't say that. So it helps because she can say, no, it doesn't say it that way, and then explain it. And so it does mature the way that content will come out. And so thank God she loves reading. It'll be taxing. It'll be just too much for someone who does it. And so she absolutely loves reading. She's a part of this community as well, so she understands the work we are putting into it. As Pamela says, thanks for the dedication. Danko leadership. Really, we are. Thing is, Pamela says, I'm at last I'm in. You are in when we are leaving. We are leaving. Ratamaya leadership. Yeah, so the first week of January, do be on the lookout. I'll announce when we come back. By the way, should I tell you how? Story of another day. Story time, Lerata Dilo. Yeah, so there is let me tell you how Tamara came into my radar. We stopped doing the live stream. I wasn't doing the live stream, and she was the first person to send me a message and said, hey, Abutiwe, free time here, my Saturdays are blank now. I am not doing. What are you saying about the live stream? When are the live streams coming? I'm like, okay, bone of my bone. That's how that happened. So now you have context. Because the last thing you want is someone that wants to derail thingy. And you would meet people like that. I remember one lady, she used to be offended and should say, Ricky, she used to say, Ricky, why don't you just preach? You clearly have the gift of preaching. Just preach only. Why do you have to expose? I'm like, how? I'm not called to do that. We preach as an extension to the subject. Okay? It's not the thingy. AMT7 is here. Leadershiping. Hey, Mandem. Mandem. Guys, for those that are not clear what Mandem is, whenever I say Mandem, you might be thinking it's UK slang for saying, hey, this person, like, oh, this group of people, So when you say Mandem, it's like these people. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people saying, what is this Mandem thing that you keep saying? That's what it is. And start reading, not allowing only Tamara to read. Yeah, no, I think we'll work towards that so that Tamara will be in the background on the thing. When there is a text, she'll read, because me, I read slow sometimes. So perfect. Great suggestion, leadership. Tankos. I've learned a lot. Thank you, leadership. We are grateful. It means we are on the right path. And thanks for those ones also. Yesterday they were saying, no, Ricky, remove the jokes on the video of the. So thank you. I removed the jokes and I just let the video on the subject. Me, sometimes I play too much, All right, guys, let me leave you back to your families, Let me not over, because I'll start reading every comment. And then before you know it, we are not going anywhere. Hunger is killing me and all that. But anyways, we'll talk next year. Don't worry. I might shoot the videos because I want to go home. I might shoot a couple of videos. I will definitely edit that interview and then finish it up and then post it. I don't know if I will have enough time for me to finish the translation one. Hey, that one is too much because now it's become worse with the load shedding and stuff like that. So, Mana just joined as a member, guys. She joined as a member. Thank you, leadership. Really, you see the marker right there. I've learned a lot this year. Yeah, this year we tackled a lot of things, And also, let's not be wary, of talking about subjects. Sometimes when you talk about a subject, you talk about it. It builds how you communicate effectively on that subject. For the work thank you, leadership. Your work goes a long way. Thank you, leadership. Thank you for employing me. Because otherwise it would not be possible to do this. It takes a lot of work doing this, which is why I just sometimes dismiss all these comments that say, oh, just making content. Listen, it takes a lot of work to produce the content that we do, but I'm able to do that because I can fully just relax and do the content, like straight on. Outside of thinking, that's why you'll see people like Pastor Gideon from Ghana. He's a pastor, he's full-time pastor, so he has time. People like Word Thinkers, they don't have all the time a lot. And also AMT7, welcome back, leadership, amazing stuff. I wouldn't have seen the Passion Java thingy until you actually posted about it. And so, thank you, leadership. That's where it's thinking. So, thank you for employing me. Otherwise, the content will be impossible because it takes a lot of time. And on Saturdays, I try to kind of like relax a little so that I have the enough energy to make a presentation, talk for 2 hours without having someone to come and back or help. So, yeah, I'll be good. I will see you at thingy, but I will keep, I don't know if I'll have episodes the entire way towards the end of the year. I don't know if that's possible. We might do a Happy Christmas video. So if you want to do that, you can send me small little clips, like small Happy Christmas videos on the WhatsApp number. Ne? Yeah, I think that would be a nice way to close. Yeah. Do that one. Send it. Don't worry. Just take a small video, 5 seconds. Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas. And then I'll compile that and I'll post it. I thought I was going to make the video of the giveaways because we did these giveaways and then people sent their videos back, right? And so I thought I was gonna make one of those videos. So I'm not sure if we will. But hey, those videos are there. I might as well think about doing that one. So you'll definitely get videos that are going towards thingy. But if you want to also do that one, do send small little clips. Okay, small little clips into the WhatsApp number, and I will include it. I will, please do hopefully send them before the 20th, né? And then I will release it on the 24th or something like that. So AMT7, please post something. Send me something. When you must post. When you have no excuse leadership. When you must send me something. I declare. Danke, I'll see y'all later. So please do send some small clip. It doesn't make it a video, guys. We are on YouTube. We are visual people. YouTube is a visual platform. So post thingy, shoot a video, happy Christmas, send it over on the WhatsApp. I'll compile that and then we'll post it. I'm also gonna do most what videos for 2022 stories. Also another thing that I always you've heard me advise this for people like AMT7, everybody that's a content creator of any kind, do not take this lightly, please. Always save the videos you make. Let me show you. Personally, I save all the videos, and I have a dedicated 2 hard drives that actually keep those in thingy. And so you can see here. This is the current ones. So you have November there, all the episodes of November, named by dates, labeled by dates. Let me stretch it like this. Labeled by dates. That's the second channel content. I'm not posting that much there. And labeled by dates. You come out. You come into this here. You'll see these are the December videos. So labeled by dates as well. And so I keep every single video. And so I'll be going back and browsing back. But I don't just keep every video. And also, it's also something that you also see from Little Limo. When Limo lost her channel, how do you start back again? You need to save your videos. And if you do so, it becomes beneficial. Now, wait, let me do this. And then there's this also. I also save every single thumbnail. That's why you see here it says 2000. You see here at the bottom. Yeah, see that? It says 2000 because we have almost 2000 videos. And so I have videos from 2020, thumbnails from 2020 here. All the way. And I put them how? By dates. And so I label the date and the video name. The date, the video name. The video, the date, and the video name. Every single thumbnail I save. Sometimes, of course, I design multiple thumbnails and decide which one looks best. And so if you are a content creator, do not. You need a hard drive that will store every single one of your things. And so if you lose a channel, you just re-upload that, go back into your thingy. And I always try to save them by their original names, so that you can see by their original name. So I don't have to, but I always have it. If you decide to move to a different platform, just take that, throw it into thingy. But also thingy. So the other ones I've removed. You're only seeing 2 months here because this stuff does kind of become too heavy. And so I do move them. Anyways. And so I thought to mention that for some people, when they lose a channel, they don't understand. You have to save every video. When I lost the previous channel, I learned the importance of the video because the video has all the data and information that I need. I lost a very critical video when I lost the previous channel. There was a certain video of a pastor teaching something, and I lost that video. And he also deleted it and removed it on all sides. And so now there's no record of that video. And it was a very crucial video. If I had kept that video, you know what? But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. We live and we learn. All right, guys. I'll see you next year. You'll continue seeing a bunch of episodes, maybe one episode a day or something like that, but some of that nature. But I'll see you next year. Y'all have a good one. Thank you very much. Highly appreciated. Please don't forget to send that small little clip name. Kita lebona. Salute.